In order to understand what's happening with reactants that are dissolved in water, we need to know whether they're in the ion form or not, which means knowing if they're strong electrolytes or not. This is just a summary of how you know. Ionic compounds that are dissolved in water are ionized. They are strong electrolytes. So how do you know if they're dissolved in water, if they can be dissolved in water? First of all, solubility rules, like those 6 ions that we talked about that only form water-soluble compounds. So if it has one of the 6, you know it's in the ion form in water and it is a strong electrolyte. Sometimes an ionic compound will have the AQ symbol shown, and if you see that, then you know that that compound is a strong electrolyte, that it is broken up into its ions. For strong acids and bases, you must memorize those. If an acid starts with H or a base is a hydroxide, is one of the strong acids or bases, then you know it is ionized 100% in water. Now there are acids that are not strong and there are bases that are not strong, and if they're not one of the strong ones, then they're not 100% ionized, and we'll see that later. These are some examples of how you can decide which is the strongest, which is a strong electrolyte, or which one is ionized in water. Very often, you don't have to tell for every compound. You just need to be able to look at a pair of compounds and know which one is dissolved in water and which one is not. And so we're looking for the strong electrolytes on each of these. If you would, pause and see if you can figure out which one is ionized in water and which one is not, and why. Okay, I'm going to go through these. On the first one, I know that the one that's ionized in water is this one, the calcium hydroxide. And the way that I know is that calcium hydroxide is one of our strong bases. On the next one, I know that HBr, hydrobromic acid, it's on our list of strong acids. So it's basically having those acids and strong acids and bases memorized, and also the 6 ions that I told you. On the next one, I recognize that this is acetate. Acetate is one of the 6 ions. All acetate compounds are water soluble. Next one, I see this potassium. Potassium also only forms water soluble compounds, so it must be that one. On this next one, I see the nitrate. Nitrate, again, is one of the 6 ions that only forms water soluble compounds. On the next one, it's a little trickier because I didn't give you a compound here that you necessarily know with our solubility rules. However, it does say AQ. So if you have an ionic compound and you see the symbol AQ, you know it must be an electrolyte, a strong electrolyte. The other thing is this looks like a molecular compound. It's all nonmetals. The way that it's written, the hydrogen is not in front, so I suspect this is not an acid either. But even if it were an acid, it's not one of the 7 strong ones that we have memorized. So on this one, we know it must be the copper chloride.